Representative Rosa DeLauro, the top Democrat on the House Appropriations Committee, is sounding the alarm on the GOP's plan to cut critical funding for social programs that millions of Americans rely on. Now, this is all part of the back and forth between Democrats and Republicans in regard to raising the debt ceiling. Republicans in the House have claimed that they will hold the debt ceiling hostage unless they get concessions for social spending cuts from the Democratic Party. At the end of the day, not voting in favor of raising the debt ceiling would collapse the global economy and the stock portfolios of every single member of Congress. So this is really a game of chicken that isn't that hard to figure out. Democrats shouldn't even engage in these negotiations. But nonetheless, DeLauro asked the leaders of major governmental departments to outline what would happen if House Republicans succeed in freezing the federal spending at fiscal year 2022 levels. That is one of their proposals, and that would have an impact, especially when you consider that they would not be in favor of cutting any spending for the defense budget. So let's get to those details. House Appropriations Chair Kay Granger, which is of course a Republican from Texas, has instructed Republicans to, quote, scrub every penny, every department, every agency, dollar, every penny spent to try to find savings, to try to figure out where we can cut spending in a responsible way. Well, the 2017 Trump era tax cuts for the rich cost the country $2 trillion. They might be able to start there, but of course they wouldn't touch that. Now, the statement from Representative DeLauro is this: the draconian cuts would take away the opportunity for 80,000 people to attend college and impact all 6.6 million students who rely on Pell Grants. If implemented, 200,000 children will lose access to Head Start and 100,000 children will lose access to childcare, undermining early education and parents' ability to go to work. As if that was not enough to deter these harmful cuts, 1.2 million women, infants, and children would lose vital nutrition assistance they receive through WIC. And she's not wrong in sharing her concerns over the Republican proposal. I just think that she shouldn't take it seriously because Democrats still control the Senate and Republicans could easily be defeated on this issue. But nonetheless, reverting its budget to fiscal year 2022 levels would strip federal rental assistance from 640,000 families, making it impossible to stave off mass evictions. And that was a statement coming from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. The Department of Education also expressed similar concerns, saying that GOP cuts would have the effect of removing more than 13,000 teachers and service providers from classrooms serving low-income children. And it would have an impact on higher education as well. A reduction of 22% from currently enacted levels would cut 468 million in federal support to determine, disperse, and service student aid. The level of funding would have devastating effects on student and parent interactions with the department, as well as their ability to successfully apply for and receive student aid.
Yeah, okay, so Democrats get no credit. So they should not even have this discussion for two different reasons that I'll get into in a second. Second of all, I've become in my several decades now of covering the news more of a theater critic than anything else, because this is all theater. And so let me tell you exactly how the play is gonna go, because I've now seen this play 10 to 20 times. This is the 21st sequel, so here we go. And you could take this to the bank and you could watch this later and you will see that I'm almost exactly right. Okay, and it's not because I'm a genius. It's because it's so obvious. It happens year after year after year. Isn't it weird that no other reporter notices it? So here's what'll happen. Republicans will say, hey, we're gonna blow your house down based on some imagined threat, okay? And in the last couple of years, it's been the debt limit, and this is a trick that they came up with about a dozen years ago, and they only use it when Democrats are in office, but they've used other tricks in the past too. Oh my God, we're gonna shut down the government. Oh, we're not gonna pay our debts. We're gonna destroy the world economy. Now those are ridiculous threats. It's super easy to beat them. You don't have this conversation if you're not interested in the play, okay? You just say to them, yeah, go ahead. I dare you, destroy the world economy.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it. Here, I'm gonna tell everybody right now, if the Republicans press that button, the economy gets destroyed and a lot of you will get fired. And when that happens, you should be in an absolute rage at the Republicans. Go ahead, I dare you to do it. Do it. Go ahead and tell your donors, your really rich donors who have all that money in the stock market, that you're gonna crash the stock market. Go ahead, Mitch, make my day, okay? Yep. So this is all a giant phony act by the Democrats as well as the Republicans. Okay, so the part one of the play is the Republicans do an absurd threat. Part two of the play is the Republicans then make demands. The demands are always on the average American, never on the rich, never on corporations, never on the Department of Defense filled with donors, right?
Yep.
Okay, and then what do the Democrats do? Instead of beating them back and going, oh yeah, you want cuts to average Americans? I want cuts to that defense budget, which is bloated and filled with pork. No, the Democrats never say that, never, even though it would be a super effective way of shutting down this conversation, right? Why do they never say that? Because they're in on it, guys.
Yes.
If you're an establishment Democrat watching mainstream media, I'm begging you to open your mind. They're in on it.
By the way, the attack against the Republican Party wanting to continue bolstering the budget for defense. You know, if Democrats were effective in that messaging and actually believed in that messaging, it wouldn't just work with Democratic voters. It would speak to some Republican voters as well who have completely pretty much abandoned the pro-war neocon narratives coming from the Republican Party. So you're absolutely right about that. There's no need for them to engage in this at all. And calling their bluff would be far stronger, and it would signal to me at least that they're serious about protecting these social spending programs. My concern is that they're engaging in this theater so they later concede on some of these spending cuts.
Exactly,
and pretend like, what could we do? We had no other choice, we had to do this. No, you didn't have to do it though.
That's part 3 of the play.
Yeah.
At the end, the exciting conclusion is they don't touch the defense budget or anything that goes to corporations, and the Democrats concede on, it's a range from a third to 2/3 of the Republican demands, okay? And then what happens? Then the media comes in and says the Republicans were heroes for cutting the deficit. The Democrats were heroes because they didn't concede on everything.
Right, and they engaged in bipartisanship.
Exactly, and then all of Washington were heroes because they were wonderfully bipartisan. So corporate media then covers up the crime scene.
Yes.
And does this sleight of hand and goes, oh, you just got helped. When in fact, they just took money out of your pocket and out of no one else's pocket. And that is how this game is played. If you're a mainstream media reporter and you never notice that, are you sure you're in the right profession?
This is how it didn't exactly play out that way back in 2011 under the Obama administration, but it very easily could have, because remember, it was the Obama administration that was willing to concede on Social Security. They were willing to cut Social Security in return for lifting the debt ceiling.
Small clarification, this play was played many times in the Obama administration and it worked beautifully. What you're referring to is the grand bargain.
The grand
where
bargain.
They were going to do it on a spectacular scale. That's when they were going to hit the mother lode of Social Security and Medicare. And Obama and Biden were like, yeah, okay, we'll cut Social Security and Medicare. Now again, I often call people idiots that are in leadership and they drive me nuts with their irrational actions. But in this case, Obama's not an idiot. Obama's incredibly smart. And the Democratic establishment is smart enough, okay? No, they're doing it on purpose. You think it didn't occur to them to go, wait a minute, how about the defense budget? Hey, wait a minute, how about we take from some of the corporate subsidies we do? Like, why are we giving $16 billion to oil and gas companies in subsidies? Why are we doing that? Why don't we touch that?
Right.
Oh, golly gee, it never occurred to me. No, come on. They're playing good cop, bad cop. They've been doing it for decades, and their biggest co-conspirator is mainstream media. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.